Hello all you film freaks and movie maniacs out there. My name is Nolan Carr and I'd like to welcome you to the go-to podcast for all things cinema. But before you can ask any questions, just sit back, relax, as I present to you a Strawlane Studio Productions Critiquing with Carr. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another great edition of the show here in Critiquing with Carr for Memorable Movie Monday. As always, if you've enjoyed episodes such as this one, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following us on the audio platforms, clicking that thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications so you can stay up to date on those platforms when episodes release, as well as clicking that share arrow so you can help continue to grow the podcast with our friends and family. Also, if you want other ways to stay up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critiquing with Carr. I say all of that because on this week's very interesting edition of Critiquing with Carr here on Memorable Movie Monday, we're talking about the interesting film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And with that being said, let's begin. This movie was directed and co-created by Michel Gondry. The screenwriter and co-creator of the story for this film was Charlie Kaufman. The story for this film was also co-created by Pierre Bismuth, and the co-producers of this film were Steve Goldman and Anthony Bregman. The cast of this very interesting movie is as follows: Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Kirsten Dunst, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, and Tom Wilkinson. The cinematographer for this film was Alan Carras. The cinematographer for this film was Valdez Oscar Daughter. The musical score for this film was done by John Bryan. The co-production companies for this film were Anonymous Content and This Is That Productions. This movie was distributed by Focus Features. This film was released in the United States on March 19th of 2004. The runtime for this movie was 104 minutes. The budget was $20 million US, and the box office grand total for this film was $74 million US. The accolades for this film are as follows. At the Academy Awards, Charlie Kaufman won for Best Original Screenplay. At the BAFTA Awards, Charlie Kaufman won for Best Original Screenplay, and Valdez Oscar Daughter for Best Editing. At the Writers Guild of America Awards, Charlie Kaufman, Michel Gondry, and Pierre Bismuth won for Best Original Screenplay. At the National Board of Review Awards, Charlie Kaufman won for Best Original Screenplay. And finally, last but not least, at the Saturn Awards, the movie also won for Best Science Fiction Film. And now it comes time for one of my two favorite parts, which is I list off the top 10 highest-grossing films for that year's release, being 2004's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Coming in 10th place at the bottom on this list was Ocean's 12. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $362.9 million. It stars George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon. Coming in 9th place on this list was Shark Tale. It was distributed by DreamWorks Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $374.6 million. It stars Will Smith, Robert De Niro, and Renee Zellweger. Coming in 8th place on this list was Troy. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $497.4 million. It stars Brad Pitt, Eric Bana, and Orlando Bloom. Coming in 7th place on this list was Meet the Fockers. It was distributed by Universal Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $522.7 million. It stars Robert De Niro, Ben Stiller, and Dustin Hoffman. Coming in 6th place on this list was The Day After Tomorrow. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox. Its worldwide gross was $552.6 million, and it stars Dennis Quaid, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Ian Holm. Coming in 5th place at the halfway mark on this list was The Passion of the Christ. It was distributed by New Market Films. Its worldwide gross was $612.1 million. It stars Jim Caviezel, Monica Bellucci, and Maya Morgenstern. Coming in 4th place on this list was The Incredibles. It was distributed by Buena Vista Pictures Distribution. Its worldwide gross was $361.6 million. It stars Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, and Sarah Vowell. Coming in 3rd place with the bronze medal on this list was Spider-Man 2. It was distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. Its worldwide gross was $795.9 million. It stars Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and James Franco. Coming in 2nd place with the silver medal on this list was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $808.5 million. It stars Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. And finally, coming in number 1 with the gold medals, the highest-grossing film for 2004 was the legendary Shrek 2. It was distributed by DreamWorks Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $935.5 million. It stars Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, my review of 2004's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one of those films that lingers in your mind long after the credits roll, not just because of its unique premise, but because of its deep exploration of love, memory, and identity. Directed by Michel Gondry and written by Charlie Kaufman, this 2004 film stars Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet in a story that blends science fiction with an emotionally charged romance. On the surface, it's about a couple who undergo a procedure to erase each other from their memories, but at its heart, it's a meditation on the complexities of relationships and what makes us who we are. One of the first things that stands out in Eternal Sunshine is Jim Carrey's performance. We're so used to seeing him in comedic roles, but here he takes on a more subdued, nuanced character. At the beginning, Carr's portrayal of Joel Barish, a seemingly mild-mannered man whose heart has been shattered, is very likable. You can see the vulnerability beneath the surface, and it's refreshing to see him in this type of role, as it adds a layer of complexity to his character. The chemistry between Carr and Kate Winslet is also one of the movie's strong suits, particularly in the early scenes where they meet on the train from Montauk. The banter feels organic and fresh, a natural back and forth that pulls you into their dynamic. Winslet's performance as Clementine is nothing short of captivating. She's quirky, unpredictable, and definitely adds an edge to the film. The supporting cast also shines, particularly Elijah Wood as Patrick and Mark Ruffalo as Stan. Patrick is a character who tries too hard to impress others, especially Clementine, while Stan, the more grounded, practical character, is simply interested in doing his job. The dynamic between the two adds a touch of humor, and it's fun to watch their contrasting personalities unfold, especially given the roles in the memory erasing procedure. One of the most emotionally resonant parts of the movie is when Joel's memories of Clementine begin to fade during the procedure. As he experiences the loss of these memories, you can feel his growing sense of panic, regret, and nostalgia for moments that were once so significant. What's particularly compelling is when Joel starts racing through different memories, trying to hold on to the pieces of their relationship he doesn't want to forget. This section of the film feels incredibly human and relatable, tapping into the universal fear of losing parts of ourselves in our past. However, not everything in Eternal Sunshine hit the mark for me. The sequences where Joel undergoes the memory eraser procedure start to lose some of their emotional impact about halfway through the film. While I understand that this part of the story is necessary to the narrative, I found myself losing interest during the more abstract and surreal moments, particularly when Joel and Clementine are running and hiding from the Laguna staff. Additionally, there were moments where the film's nonlinear storytelling, though creative, became hard to follow. It's clear that this film is intentionally fragmented, jumping between different moments of Joel's life, but at times it felt confusing, and dare I say, a bit tedious. Lastly, I'll admit that Kate Winslet's performance for me ultimately outshone Carrie's. While I appreciate Carrie's effort, particularly in the quieter, more introspective moments, Winslet's more dynamic and eccentric performance felt more in tune with the film's tone. Clementine, with all her contradictions, became the beating heart of the movie, and it was hard to look away from her when she was on screen. In conclusion, at the end of the day, Eternal Sunshine offers a poignant exploration of love, loss, and memory, wrapped in a creative and visually striking package. While it may not be perfect, it's certainly a film that resonates with anyone who's ever experienced the complexities of relationships and the painful beauty of moving forward. With that being said, I'm reasonably proud to give this very interesting film a score of 7 out of 10 on the Diamond Dave scale. And with that being said, my film freaks and cinephiles, as always, if you've enjoyed this week's edition of the show, here at Critique with Carr from Memorable Movie Monday, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following us on the audio platforms, clicking a thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications so you can save the date on those platforms when episodes release, as well as clicking at share out so you can help continue to grow the podcast with your friends and family. Also, if you want other ways of staying up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critiquing with Carr. And with that being said, my film freaks and cinephiles, as always, take care, and most importantly, happy viewing.